What's up, everybody? This is Eric with our real estate journey, back for video number 4 of the master bathroom remodel. And you are looking at my trash can. As I mentioned in an earlier video, I live in a condo association. We do not have dumpsters. We have individual trash cans. The contractor was here today, and this is all the concrete that was removed from my bathroom. It ended up in my trash with all the other stuff. And I'll tell you this can is almost impossible to move. It is so effing heavy. Anyway, that was one issue I have to deal with. I'm not going to put the full blame on him for all this stuff. It wasn't super clear. I thought he was going to push a lot of this stuff back into the hole that you're going to see here shortly when I get into the bathroom. Or holes, I guess. Because that's what he had mentioned. I mentioned that we can throw a lot of this in the trash can. I didn't think it was going to be this much of it. So now this is going to be fun in a few days when I've got to wheel this sucker out there. And just hope that the trash man doesn't happen to notice all this stuff dumping into the back of the garbage truck. I doubt he will. They have those mechanical arms. So anyway, it's enough time staring into my trash can. Kill that light. So here in the kitchen, which, if you remember, if you saw one of the other videos, the earlier videos with this, the other side of this wall is the bathroom that we're doing. And this drawer right here, this cabinet, I wanted an access panel put in. I was going to do it myself, but he took the liberty to go ahead and do it, which I was like, okay, that's cool. But he decided to drill from the other side. Well, that's not how you're supposed to do this stuff, unfortunately. So what happens is, and hopefully you can see this, but you pull this down and look. I guess you really can't see that too well. Right here and right there. That's actually where the cabinet, the veneer, splintered off. And it's a pretty significant amount because he drilled, again, from the other side. That's a cabinet. It's going to be full of stuff. We actually have these cabinets, the paint matched for this. So we're just going to get in there and paint up, cover it up, and then the pots and pans and all that stuff will be in there. All this stuff that you see scattered everywhere. And he's got to come back tomorrow to finish, hopefully finish. So here's what he did. Here's the toilet. That the drain was over here, needed moved. Back to this in a second. Here's the shower drain, which did not get moved yet. But all this plumbing here, if you can remember, came down, was kind of a weird, funky mess here. And we actually found out that it didn't come through here, like the sink's over here. And we thought that it ran here and then went this direction. Nope, it actually came from the hallway. So he had to get underneath there quite a bit and splice into it there. He's using PEX, which is fine. And he got it up here. Back to this also in a second. And over here, he did not have to get into the concrete. He relocated this stuff. This was very cool. He was able to move this. This flue vent was right in the middle here, or just slightly left. And we have a sconce getting installed right there. Both sides, so this flue vent was in our way. No problems at all moving that. He works very quickly. He's impressive. I guess I'm just so used to the way I work and how quickly I work on things, and I'm so used to everybody else working so slowly in the contractor world that I was just surprised at how quickly this was all one day that he did this. I had to go rent a jackhammer, $120 for 24 hours at Home Depot with 2 bits. He tore all this stuff up, this, and then again, everything you see that he ran PEX for, he did today. So let's get to the first issue in this bathroom. The shower pan that's going to go here is 32 inches wide. Shower pans don't go up to drywall; they go up to the studs, to the framing. So 32 inches centered is 16. He put this centered at 16 and a half because he factored in drywall. Half inch, am I going to scream and cry about that? Of course not. Can I probably just, because it's flex, just slide this over a half inch? Almost certainly. And matter of fact, the way this is and how quickly he works anyway, I'll probably just have him take this off, and adjust it. And it sounds anal, but if you're going to do it and you're paying what we're going to be paying for all this stuff, you do want it to be as perfect or close to perfect as possible. So that was that. Besides the access panel, because the reason I wanted access panel is for shutoff valves. There was no access panel to this bathroom. There is upstairs, not to this one. And I've always been a big fan of having those, so he put those shutoff valves in there for me. Fantastic. I'm glad that worked out. So, here's issue number 2. This toilet. I mentioned when he got here about, just in conversation, it's a 5-foot shower. He kind of already knew this anyway, and I said that, 30 inches is all the space I'm going to have. I was not apparently clear enough with that, and again, it was frustrating, and he definitely was frustrating about this mistake. But anybody looking at this should know quickly that from here to here is much more than 15 inches that would be required. First of all, it's code to have minimum 15 inches from a wall or obstruction. Secondly, I only have 30 inches total, so centering it would be 15 inches. Well, this is 19 inches. So that means that he now has to dig even deeper, recut this, and move it. He was frustrated, of course. I wasn't really frustrated. I mean, honestly, because I knew he'd fix it, and I understand why he was frustrated. However, that was very short-lived. He got over it, and he'll now have to come back tomorrow. He was hoping to be done with this today, and because of that, it didn't work out that way. So now he's going to have to move that. So my point in this, not only to show you some of the issues you will run into, but you have to be very clear with your contractors. Contractors, even him, I think he did a really good job. This stuff, I'm not a plumber. I know this stuff, some of this stuff is not real difficult to do, but I'm not going to take away anything from him or any other plumbers out there. I'm not a plumber. I don't want to be a plumber, and because it does take a skill. But if you're not super clear with them, then they're going to just assume things. Here, which I'm not even going to consider this an issue. I'm not, but I will tell you what it is. It's a 48-inch vanity. However, the top is going to add almost an inch on both sides. It's a freestanding vanity we're putting here, not a wall mounted one. Well, that was another thing in passing on his first visit. Not today. This is his first visit, or maybe his second visit when he did the garbage disposal. Either way, that I mentioned 48 inches. I did not come back in and specify before he did this that it's actually going to be like 50 inches. So that needs to come out to about 25 inches or to 25 inches to be in the middle. He's at 24. You can swing those P-traps. Not a big deal. So that's why, again, this is not an issue. He told me this after pointing out this issue here. He was a little frustrated, and he asked me if I wanted this moved over, and I was like, no, of course not. Again, he was frustrated, so yeah, normal reaction. So anyway, that is kind of the point of this, is you have to be very adamant or very specific with your contractors. You don't have to be over their shoulders. That's not going to improve any relationships you have with your contractors. But you do have to be very clear with what you want to be done. And if there are any questions, do not hesitate to ask them. Just ask, verify things. And that way you don't run into things like this. This does have me a little worried now, even though now he knows, and those are some of his marks. He knows what it needs to be now, and I'll re-verify with him before he starts, of course. This, he said he moved, because this originally was over here. You can see some of the scraps that are still here. He did relocate it, but I think that he had that moved further for the toilet when he thought it was going to be here. And then I think he moved it back to where it is now for when it goes here. It should be fine, because this is going to end up having to come over 4 inches. Oh, because he came over 19, but he also only came over here 11 inches to center. My finger pointed straight. So 11 inches to center from the back. Toilets are standard 12-inch rough end. That's from the drywall. He's 11 inches from the framing. Throw that half-inch drywall on there. Well, guess what? Now he's only 10 and a half. Major problem. They do make 10-inch toilets, but we're not buying a 10-inch toilet. And I don't even know if that half-inch, matter of fact, from what I've seen online, from what my experience is, if it's a half-inch, even as much as a half-inch off, you're going to have leaks. It's not going to be a great seal on your wax ring. This is something I'll be very specific with him tomorrow about. The other thing that I've kind of picked up on from his lingo today is I don't believe he's planning on doing this concrete. Even though that was part of the discussion right from the get-go, I honestly believe, because he didn't bring any, he hasn't talked about it, and I just did not get the vibe that he's planning on doing it. That's a pain in the ass to deal with. So now what's going to happen is, even though he gave us a really good deal, I'm going to have to contact my concrete guy and have him come do this. And this is a small area, but it's still going to be a couple $100. I'm sure it's going to be a $200 job. I don't expect contractors to leave their house for pennies. So, and with the amount of materials that I'm covering, once it's all said and done, I have a feeling we're not going to be too far off from some other another contractor's bid that we got, which I guess it just reminded me that I didn't even mention that in a previous video, that we finally got contacted from one of the other contractors that we hadn't heard from out of the original 5, and they didn't even show up. I told them I already had somebody, but talking to the guy on the phone, told him what was going on, and he had seen the pictures from the original request that I sent, and he said, "Oh, I think that's going to be a $1,200 to $1,500 job," and blah blah blah. So we're going to be there anyway, and they're a company, so they would be backed, and they would have this concrete done, and all that. So So anyway, this guy, I really like him a lot. He's a friendly guy. Was here exactly when he said he would be here. Frustrated for a minute. Totally understandable. But he's going to fix it and be out of here tomorrow. And we'll see when the heck I can get this concrete guy in here to do this part. And in the meantime, I will reframe both sides. So I'll do another follow-up video after this is a few steps ahead, I guess. Just wanted to give you guys an update on this. Appreciate you guys stopping by. If you have any questions, comments, throw them down below. And subscribe if you'd like to. Catch you next time. See ya.